Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Footy Banter and Insights. We are here after a small hiatus, but hopefully more recharged and refreshed after going and celebrating our friend Manan's nuptials. So, we will be discussing a plethora of topics. Uh, for one, I think we can start off with the managerial situation at Spurs. And more importantly, there is now a real possibility that Spurs may actually get relegated, which seemed almost impossible, let's say, at the beginning of the season, wherein they began really well under Thomas Frank. So, as always, Varun and Manan are with me to share their insights and views on this matter. So, what's your view, Varun and Manan?
Manan, you want to take a first go at it?
Yeah, I think on our last stream we had discussed about it also, and at that time Tudor had just begun his reign, and I had expected better impact from him because he has done a similar job. Like he's sort of the Daesh of the Italian league, where he like takes up teams who are under the threat of relegation, and he or like having a very poor season, and he recovers the season for them. So he couldn't do it in the English league, which also is a sign that English league is very different from other leagues. Primarily, the exhibit here being the Italian league, and yeah, I think it's sort of finally dawning on me that Spurs might just get relegated, which is not what I had said on our last stream when Varun and I were having this discussion. And I think this would be the biggest relegation since Newcastle got relegated all those years back under Mike Ashley.
So, let me just set some context before I ask Varun to also share his views. I'm just going to read out the list of fixtures remaining for Spurs. So, the first fixture, which is there on 12th of April, is Sunderland away. And mind you, Sunderland have lost just one game at home all season. Then they are facing Brighton at home and Wolves away. And Wolves surprisingly have started playing better once their relegation got confirmed. Then they have Villa away, wherein Villa will be competing for a Champions League slot. They have Leeds at home, who may as well be competing to avoid the drop. They have Chelsea away, who in current form may be the easiest of these fixtures, but a Chelsea away fixture for Spurs is never easy. And then they have Everton at home. So just setting the context for the fixtures. Now, Varun, what's your view? And being an Arsenal fan, are you cherishing talking about this subject?
See, honestly, honestly, if you ask me, and I don't know, someone did ask me, right? I just prefer Arsenal to win the league. I don't care about Spurs. But on a side note, it's always good to see them struggle, right? So yeah, but look at the silver lining for there is a silver lining for the Spurs fans in this. The silver lining is that at least if they get relegated, they won't have to lose to us twice a season every year. So, and go through that pain. I mean, they lost to us 4-0 twice this season. I mean, that's horrible. So,
Basically, Eze only saves his goals for Spurs, I think. I think he scored
yeah,
50 goals
true,
against them.
true. But I have a feeling that 7 games to go, the quality that is there in the squad, right? I think if the players just kind of put their heads to it, I don't think they should be relegated. West Ham is having a bad run as well, equally bad run. Their goal difference is better than West Ham as well. Um, I think if the players just kind of see it's the home stretch, and if the players I think just put their heads to it, get a decent manager, right? Just a half decent manager to just work on the psychology of the players. At this moment, I don't think it's the talent or the quality of the players. It's just the psychology of the players right now, right? Just work on that for the remaining 7 games, and I think they should avoid the drop. According to me, I think they won't get relegated.
So
That's my prediction.
just sharing the league table as well. Leeds, Nottingham Forest, West Ham, and Tottenham. Leeds are on
Yes.
33 points, Nottingham on
Yeah.
32 points, Spurs on
Yeah.
30, and West Ham on 29. So these are the
Correct.
four teams in theory who can be relegated with the final slot which is there.
Correct.
Else, I think everyone is safe. Crystal Palace on 39 points, I think, are very
Yes.
at the moment.
Yes. Yes. True.
Perfect.
So
So,
yeah, these are the four teams. 7 games to go. Now, if you just look at Tottenham are 30 points, West Ham are 29 points, but the goal difference is massive, right? Like it's -10 for Spurs and it's -21 for West Ham. So I think with such narrow margins, this might also come into play. So I mean, let's see. I think they have the players. I mean, they just need to put their heads together. That's it. I think they should avoid it.
so just a couple
Do you
of
think, like, just to interject here, do you think Leicester City winning the EPL, or let's say for the sake of this example, Spurs getting relegated, which one is a bigger shock?
no,
Leicester City
Leicester
winning the EPL
by far.
by far, by far.
In 25 years of following football, I think if I look at the underdog story, Greece winning the Euros was definitely one of them, but that was a very finite tournament, right? Like you don't play a large number of games and you
Mhm.
can be defensively solid and you can try and get something. And Leicester was like 5,000 to 1 odds at the beginning of the season. They were one of the candidates to get relegated before the beginning of the season. And everyone, I think, in that season, every time like if I give certain bottlenecks, so let's say नवंबर जब आया तो लोगों ने बोला कि यार ड्रॉप ऑफ हो जाएंगे. जैन विंडो में they didn't sign enough players, they will drop off. अप्रैल में चलो they are gonna hit the wall, but they kept on outperforming, and that team genuinely, I think they played for one another. You look at their squad from back to front. So Robert Hoot, then you had Kante and Drinkwater, you had Mares, you had Vardy up front. So everyone used to play for one another, and they had a very simple game plan. So I think I don't see another Leicester type of story again for the next 10 years. It's a once in a generation story.
What about Porto winning the Champions League?
That was brilliant. I think that was absolutely brilliant. But again, the only difference is that, in fact, you look at one season prior, Porto winning the Europa League and Champions League back to back. I think that is something again which I don't see a smaller, less high profile club doing it. There's a Bodo Gilmet has a great example this year. They were sweeping teams across, but then suddenly one bad game and you are completely out of the tournament. So it's a very, very difficult journey as well. But someone getting relegated, I don't. So if you look at just the trend, last year Spurs finished 17th. So it's
Mhm.
not as if this was not coming, right? So you can't say ki, oh, this has come out of nowhere. Of course, if City get relegated without a points reduction, then that will be a greater surprise. Ki yaar, how did a team which was winning four back-to-back championships, 5 and 6 seasons, without any drop points getting relegated? That would be a major, major surprise. With Spurs, it is more, I would say, well, I can't compare to Leicester. Like Leicester would be the wrong example for me, I would say.
Okay.
Okay, a very interesting thing, right? So the 36th game week, which is the third last game week of the season, Arsenal play away to West Ham.
Hmm.
Now, if Arsenal secure the title before that, then Spurs की कुंडली Arsenal के हाथ में है.
I don't see Arsenal playing a weekend 11 under Arteta for sure. Unless there's a Champions League game coming up or something.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
if we like, there's a decent possibility we go ahead in the next round of championship. Touch
Yeah,
wood,
yeah.
like we go ahead, and
But the
and I
game
think like
is it that game week? Like in that वो आने वाला है क्या वो?
I think it's 9th of May. So I think आजू बाजू में ही होना चाहिए उसके.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So yeah, but I mean anything probably like if we have won the league, he wants to rest players or the players are actually very fatigued as well, or whatever. So, but of course, given that we have kind of sealed the league before that, not otherwise. So yeah, it will be like a good throwback to Son missing that crucial
Yeah.
chance against City, which could have
Mhm.
helped us win the title.
There are three more things that I would like to add. One, Manan has gone black and white on us. I don't know why.
Wait, I think it's just the lighting here.
Acha.
Hmm.
Second, I think just from a human perspective, so I'm sure people will be aware of the situation at Spurs, but just to put in context, after the last defeat against Nottingham Forest, and I'll again set the precedent for that. So Spurs had done a parade, and they had invited fans for the parade, and the entire stadium was buzzing. Tottenham started the game brilliantly. They had their chances. Nottingham absorbed the pressure and they deservedly won 3-0. Now, as soon as the game ended, unfortunately, Igor Tudor got word that his father Mario had passed away. And that is why he could not take up the match day post match conference duties. And again, like from a human element, I think it is completely unimaginable how difficult the situation he would be under. And I think credit to Spurs that they did not take any immediate action at the time. They maybe waited for him to, go through the rights and then come back and then had a discussion. And they have finally parted ways with Tudor on a mutual basis. And there is talks of De Zerbi joining on a 5-year deal based on what the Twitter headlines have shown. It's not confirmed yet, but Ben Jacobs has reported it. And usually, when one of the senior journalists reports, is usually there's some smoke to the fire. So there is a possibility that Spurs may actually get a very good manager before the end of the season if De Zerbi does decide to join.
Do you think he is the right manager for their present predicament?
Um, See, he is volatile enough, and he can get them firing to get some points. That is the only thing which I'll say. The ideal
Currently, you
person
need
right
someone who can
now,
motivate them.
yeah, like Igor
But I
Tudor,
think like
unfortunately, was not
he's
working.
sort of like a system manager, right? Like he wants his teams to play a certain way, and like it's very difficult to teach players to play that way in the middle of the season, or like with 7 8 games to go, when they are struggling to be in the league, and also when they've been playing a different style of football the whole season.
I agree. It's a very fair point.
Hmm.
My only thought will be De Zerbi is a very passionate manager. He is a little bit like Antonio Conte. He is tactically very, very well versed. And if you want to get certain results on a shorter span of time, I think he will not be that fixated on the type of play he wants to play. He may be more fixated on getting, like, he may be able to outwit his opponent tactically and get the win for their team. I think he is capable of doing that.
I think like the present squad that Spurs have is not fitting De Zerbi, or like what he likes to do, or the kind of football that he plays, because they have no
But
creativity in the midfield.
if
And
you're Deserby, sorry,
yeah,
Aman, go ahead.
yeah, so they have no creativity in the midfield, which sort of leads me to think that someone who is more of a manager that will bypass the midfield and like put balls in and try to score and like make them brutish and fighting, that is a better manager for the next games for the rest of the season for Spurs to just get a tune out of the players, and then maybe they can go for Deserby in the summer and sort of mold the squad around what he requires.
I'm just, if you're Deserby, why would you want to join Tottenham now? Just wait. If they are not relegated, you can join them in the summer. If they are
Hmm.
relegated, you as this don't want to join them, right? Like it doesn't make a logical sense why Deserby would join at this point, according to me, from his point of view as well.
I'm just trying to see if there has been any other reports.
No, there's like Deserby and there's Harry Redknapp who's been linked as well.
I thought Deserby was बीच में there was a rumor that Deserby was linked to United as well.
Yeah, yeah, he's still linked to United. But
Okay.
again, United jobs in the summer. And I think like Carrick has sort of moved to the front of the queue. And that is very evident for all potential candidates to see. Whether it's right or wrong is another conversation, but that is how perception is right now. So if he would feel that okay, I may not even get that job, so might as well go for the Spurs job. That is a thought.
So, what is being reported, I'll read out. Roberto De Zerbi is now close to an agreement with Spurs following a breakthrough in talks. 5-year contract on offer. De Zerbi had told Spurs last week he wanted to wait until the summer, but a lucrative 5-year deal has made him open to taking the job now. This is via Alex Crook, which has been then forwarded to Ben Jacobs. Both
Hmm.
are part of the traditional media.
But I'm sure this clause will also have like a like a release clause if they get relegated. I'm sure
I'm sure. I'm sure.
he's not going to manage them in the championship. Too high profile a manager to manage in the championship.
Agreed. Although Biesla did it, but he's too young, too high profile, like too out there.
See, you never know. Like, he had the option of the United job and he ended up taking the Marseille job. So he has
Hmm.
always been a person who's taking up a very different non-traditionalistic option, right? So
Hmm.
let's see. Like, if I was in his place, I think this would not be adding any value. Like, coming in for with 7 games to go, there's not any value to be
Exactly.
had here. It would
Exactly.
actually require a Harry Redknapp or a Sean Dyche to come in and just stabilize the ship for like 7 games and then see how it lands. And then I think from a Spurs perspective, they have been very clear that if, like, from a fan perspective, they want Poch back at the end of the summer.
Hmm.
So again, maybe the only reason why this works is because right now he gets a 5-year deal instead of waiting for the summer.
Hmm. Actually, yeah, the Poch factor is bigger than the Carrick factor. That's true.
So yeah, and let me just see if I can get some more information. West Ham का fixtures list also I'll read out. So no, West Ham have Wolves at home, Palace away, Everton at home, Brentford away, and like Varun mentioned, Arsenal away.
Yep. Arsenal at home for West Ham.
Arsenal at home. My bad. Yes, correct.
Um, yeah, I mean West Ham have like a equally challenging list of fixtures. Yeah, Arsenal, Newcastle are not going to be an easy game. Brentford is going to be a Brentford Crystal Palace against like tricky fixtures. They are playing Everton and Leeds as well. So I think the fixture difficulty level is pretty similar for them and Spurs. I don't think it's like too much of a difference there.
Okay. If you had to choose the third team to get relegated aside from Wolves and Burnley, what would be your pick right now?
It's really cruel to choose it. Yeah. Like, you can ask
I
us
would
whom
I,
do you think would get relegated, but whom do you want to get
I would want
relegated is a
Spurs
very
to be relegated.
bad.
See, if you look at the pedigree, all the clubs over there have tremendous pedigree, right?
Yeah.
Forest, like literally two-time Champions League winners, finally got back to the Premier League, did really, really well last season. Then you look at let's say a Spurs, which have been traditionally one of the biggest teams across Europe. Leeds have been one of the biggest teams across Europe, and West Ham again have been super stable across the league. So I
So
think
I think like pedigree wise, Spurs are much farther along than all the other three, because the other three have pedigree which is like historical. It's not
correct.
in the past 20 odd years. So pedigree wise, you would like I would personally want Spurs to be in the league. But again, like if you ask me whom do I wish gets relegated, I have no answer for that.
By the way,
Whom
I
do
Manan,
have an answer.
uh,
on another note here, in
uh,
the last 20 years,
mhm.
West Ham have got more trophies than Spurs, and Leeds
Yeah,
have
but
got more trophies than Spurs.
it's but we talk about Champions League and Europe and stuff, right? It's not just about the trophies.
Yeah, fair enough.
So
I would
like in
want
the
Spurs to
last
be
20
relegated, but
years, Leeds,
I
Forest
think West
and
Ham
West
will be
Ham have all
relegated.
three played in the championship.
Sorry, what?
Leeds would have played.
Has also played, and
West Ham has played in the Champions League
championship.
championship. Yeah, correct.
Yeah, yeah, all three of them have played in the championship.
Yeah.
Leeds has not played in the Champions League in the last 20 years.
Yeah, last they would have played is 2001.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But okay. I mean, I don't think they will get relegated. Those Spurs. I think West Ham is more
How
likely.
disappointing, yeah.
I know,
Yeah, I think West Ham are the most likely.
Yeah.
Let's see.
but uh, but you never know. Bowen pulls off some magic.
Or
Anyways, okay.
Santo.
And okay, let's move on to the next one, guys.
Cool. So, Manan, what would you like to discuss in the next topics at hand?
uh, no, I think like for me, when I was just going over whatever topics we had sort of shortlisted, I think uh, at the moment the Brighton model, but overall in general the model of clubs succeeding by scouting well and buying low and developing players and selling high is not sustainable, and which is what I see with like Brighton also happening now, where uh, like so if I go back, let's say it started with Southampton when they had like that really good team about 14 years back, where they were like buying low, scouting really well. Then there's Brighton now. There were a couple of teams in the interim. Dortmund does it a lot. Uh, if you like, I don't think it's sustainable, and it leads to eventual like relegation or like being in that dogfight. And I think that's what's happening to West Ham now. Sorry, Brighton now, where they are not like this summer they will have likely Baleba, who's that one player who would be sold at a high price. And this is despite him having a down season. So, like for this model to work, you need one high profile sale every season. And to replace, like to reinvest that money in like five, six, seven upcoming talents, one of whom or two of whom would give you massive returns later. And this scouting system or this business model is not sustainable. What do you guys think about it?
So, I'll take a couple of minutes here.
Hmm.
Tony Bloom is the chairman of Brighton.
Mm-hmm.
He is the majority owner,
Mm-hmm.
and he owns two other football clubs wherein he
Mm-hmm.
has a reasonable stake.
Mm-hmm.
One is Union Saint Gilloise.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this club finished second 3 seasons back. They
Mm-hmm.
finished top last season, and they
Mm-hmm.
are leading this season, and they are playing in the Champions League.
Mm-hmm.
The other team which he has now got into is Hearts in the Scottish Championship, and
Mm-hmm.
Hearts at present are in a situation where they may actually win the Scottish Championship for the first time in about 30 years. either Celtic or Rangers may not win the championship.
Hmm.
So his data-led approach is working for sure. There's no doubt about it. Even at Brighton, it is working really well. The difference which is there is now other teams are also getting into that approach. So when you are doing something different, and when you are doing something new and not other people are doing it, then you have a better advantage. So in the Scottish league, for example, he may be the only one doing that approach. In the, I think it would be, yes, in the Belgian league,
Belgian.
yes, he would be the only one who is following that approach. But in the Premiership now, you look at teams like Brentford, you look at teams like Chelsea, they are doing similar activities. Liverpool have been doing this since a long time. So then the difference becomes a little less tangible, because everyone is going after similar profile of players. Your scouting network is going to be even better. Your data analytics have to be even better. And to get that advantage over the bigger teams who can afford to pay the higher wages and who can afford to, let's say, give them a more, let's say, a bigger project, that becomes a little difficult. But at the same time, I feel that what Brighton is doing in the Premier League, it is really remarkable for a club of their stature, how they have completely shaped over the years. Like they have consistently invested in young players, they have consistently invested in their facilities. So even if you look at Brighton's training ground, they have completely revamped it. So I think it's not just about doing your study, doing your recruitment, and then buying at a low price and selling at a high price. It's the entire model of developing talent, and then when that talent reaches a certain level, wherein they feel that yes, this talent is now ready to, let's say, go to a bigger club, they realize the maximum value they can for that talent, and they invest wisely in other talented players across leagues. So I think what they are doing right now is brilliant. And also, you look at the fact that they are not only losing players, they are losing managers and they're losing a lot of support staff as well. And within those guidelines, if they are able to still be a consistent mid-level club, now you look at, like we just spoke about Spurs as an example, right? They have one of the best stadiums in world football. They have one of the best and most stable structures under Levy over the past 20 years. Only now this season he is going to be replaced. And in that time, they are still going backwards in the last couple of seasons. Whereas Brighton, even in their backward period, they are a mid-table consistent side. So I think their model is definitely working for sure.
Just a quick 1 minute short thing from my end. I think the model is great. I don't think it's sustainable because there are three aspects that are very important when it comes to this model. One is your data analytics and your recruitment, in terms of how you are studying the data and recruiting the players in terms of just analyzing their performances, correct, in different leagues and the kind of database of players that you have. Second is your scouts, your scouting system, your the touch and feel of it, which is also very important. Understanding, okay, fine, data is one thing, but you need those proper, still you need that proper scout to kind of seal the deal in terms of which player is actually good, in terms of their mentality is good, their approach to football is good, they have a good family support, etc., etc. So that is second. And the third is an important thing, which is your manager and your backroom support staff, which actually gets the best out of these recruited players, correct. Now the model works for 3 4 years, but after 3 4 years, as you, to your point, other teams are going to replicate the whole data analysis model kind of a thing, and the whole predictive model, and the whole algo that goes behind it. It's not that difficult to do that. Second thing, there will be bigger clubs who will come and poach your scouts, and who will come and poach your chief of, basically your head recruiter, or they will come and poach the managers. They will come and poach the backroom staff, right? So having that three tier sustainability at the back end is very difficult, and that's why this model is not sustainable, because it's
So
not just the new players that you are identifying. every year to keep this model going, have to identify good managers, you have to identify good backroom staff, and you have to identify good recruiters and etc. to actually keep this thing going, which makes it very difficult.
So I'll just add one point here. I had come across a documentary wherein the CEO of Brighton, Paul Barber, he had shared a very detailed, like this is during the Graham Potter to Chelsea days. So he had laid out how they have a great succession plan. So whenever, let's say, Graham Potter wants to leave, they have three coaches identified whom they would want to work with after Potter. So at no point in time they are in that zone wherein they don't have options. So I'll try and find a documentary of Paul Bauer and share with you guys. So which kind of explains how, and this is not only at the, let's say, at the coach level. This is across all departments wherein they have right profiles identified, and they have internal upgradations as well, that you work for a certain number of years and you get upgraded to the next profile. And this is something which Brentford has also done. So I had come across the Brentford interview wherein what they had done is they had shared that like Thomas Frank and his entire backroom staff went away, but the goalkeeping coach, he got the job of the manager, and then they had a certain way of doing things which continued despite the change. So I'll just try and share a couple of documentaries which may give you more ideas. I'm not
No, but
saying, yeah.
the thing is, like, it's not about success of the model, it's the long term sustainability. And
Sustainability of the
why
model,
I
yeah.
agree with, like, I brought up this point and then I agree with Varun also, is because uh, all these bets you're making are high risk bets, and high risk bets are going to stop coming off after a while. It's like you start investing in, like, small cap stocks, penny stocks, and hope for them to, with all the data that you have, you bet on them to give you high returns, high returns, and high returns, and eventually it's going to, this model is going to break, because high risk investments are going to lead to, like, high losses at some point, especially in a human driven uh, environment over just like the stock market or something, as an analogy. And
No,
like, I've seen this happen to Southampton and many other teams who've been doing this. Like Monaco at one time was doing this also.
again, the structure plays a part, but I'm gonna ask you a question. What is the alternative for a club like Brighton? Now they are limited by the funds that they have. Now I can go and I can buy a 40 million player who may or may not succeed at my club, who may mess up the wage structure, or I am very clear that my objective is not to win the Premier League. My objective is to stay in the Premier League, and my objective is to be a respectable member of the Premier League season after season. And for doing that, I don't need to beat, let's say, 20 other teams. I just need to beat the, let's say, 5 or 6 teams, which I think is a very sustainable model for them. I think they can keep on identifying good prospects, have a very clear wage structure, and they can keep doing, like, it depends on the ambition of the club, right? I don't think the Brighton model is that they want to win. I think the Brighton model is that they want to stay in the Premier League.
I'll tell you the alternative. The alternative to make it more more sustainable is the rate at which you are selling your players needs to go down. You can't sell every season. You cannot sell three good players. That rate of selling the players is unsustainable for me. And just to back up a little bit, it's not just about the manager. So, for example, a manager works very closely with the sporting director. I mean, manager same here, correct? But the sporting director is changing. So even if the manager, see, there are things like there are three or four things that actually have to fall in place for the system to work seamlessly. Correct? उसमें से even one cog breaks, the wheel doesn't work, kind of a thing, right? So that makes it very difficult and makes the sustainability difficult. Now, if you have to make it more sustainable, I feel instead of selling four players or three players every year, you sell one player every year, or you sell one player every alternate year. That is
Let
that is
me,
my take. Like that makes it, that elongates the whole process. gives a more consistent flow in where the new players coming in learn from the older players and keeps the cycle going for a much longer time.
Let me just pull out some data as well in the meanwhile. So
Like
just to
if you think about all the clubs, like for example, I started watching
Manan,
football
we can't
since
see you.
2002. Yeah, I don't know what's happened to my video.
Okay, no
Uh,
worries.
yeah, so I started watching football since 2002. Now, if I count which clubs have survived without relegation in this period, that would be like the top six: Everton, and that's it. I don't remember any other club that has not been relegated. Can you guys recall any club presently in the league that's not been relegated in the past 20 years?
let's look at the league table now, Rukja. Take a second. Arsenal, City just came back. In fact, they
Ha,
were
like early 2001, so
early
it's more than
2000s.
20 years. Yeah.
Villa got relegated as well. They came back.
Yeah.
Brentford, Fulham, Brighton, Sunderland, of course, Bournemouth, Palace, Leeds. Yeah, all of them have got relegated.
All of them have got relegated, right? Which show, and like the only clubs that have not gotten relegated are the ones which have had certain amount of consistent investment in the squad. So I feel like these are not like clubs which are regularly selling clubs. So I think this model works for a while, but if you want to be a team who's going to be in the league on a consistent basis, you can't be an always selling club.
So let's actually break it down. So this season, let's say if we look at 3 seasons, just to have a proper data point. So let's say in the 23-24 season, Watford signed players like João Pedro, James Milner, Bart Verbruggen for about 17 million, which was a big buy at that point of time. Valentin Bako they bought for 8 million, and they sold McAllister for 55. And I think that was the only big, and of course, Caicedo and Robert Sanchez to Chelsea for about 150 million. So these were the big sales. If we look at 24-25 season, they got in Jakuba Minte, Mats Wiefer for 30-25 million. They got in Gruda for 25 million. They got in Rooter for 40 million. They got in Matt O'Reilly for 25 million. They got in Diego Gomez for 11 million. And they sold, let's say, if I look at the bigger sales, they've not disclosed the amounts, but if I look at the players, again, I don't think they have actually generated much sales last season. So essentially, they had bought more, and what they had sold is very minuscule. And even if I look at this season, they have actually, one second, got in this young kid, Costulas, for about 30 million, and Maxim de Saiper, who's a Belgium starting left back now, for 18 million. So about 50 million they spent on two players, and they sold Adingra and Estupian for about 40 million. So if I actually look at that over the last
They
two
also
seasons,
sold João Pedro, no, for big money to Chelsea.
yes, जाओ पेड्रो, इस undisclosed में आ रहा है इसलिए वो नहीं पता था. हाँ ठीक है, so
हाँ.
जाओ पेड्रो they sold for 55 million.
Hmm.
So essentially, if you look at it, they are buying quite frequently, right? It's not just a selling club. कि यार, I'm going to sell players and not replace them. They're actually spending a lot on players over the last 2.5, 3 seasons. It just depends on how these players now go to the next level. And whether the bargain deals they were getting in the past, now everyone will be more skeptical, right? तुम 100 million में बेच रहे हो और तुम हमसे 5
Yeah,
में
yeah, yeah.
खरीद. No one is going to agree to that.
True.
But
That makes it tougher, right?
that makes it tougher. But they are still
Yeah.
sustaining that club. At least now, till now, they are sustaining. I don't know how it will progress further, but they are investing well in the squad. And it depends. Like if you look at the players I read out, like seven of them are now starters for Brighton this season.
Yeah, but how many of them would go for big money at the end of the season?
Not many.
Yeah,
Not
only
many.
Baleba, and like he would go for max 60, 70 odd million.
Ideally, yes. And Balebaka also, I think maybe people will take one more year to look at him again
Yeah,
because this season
yeah,
was not the best. But
right.
maybe
So,
someone like a Diego Gomez, he is someone who's doing very well. This Cyper after the World Cup can be in demand. He's a very, very good left back. Then you have, Rutter or someone who they signed for 40 million, but again, he can go for about the same level to someone like a Villa or a Leeds. So it won't be the like the Caicedo deal wherein 5 million में लेकर मैं 105 million में बेचूंगा, but it can be good, let's say, sideway deals wherein you are generating profit and then you're using that to buy younger players, 16, 17, 18-year olds, and then sending them across to your sister concerns. Someone can go to a Belgium, someone can go to a Scotland, and then they can learn their trade for their 2, 3 years and then come back and establish themselves, which is, by the way, what they had done with Caicedo as well. So he had gone to Belgium for about a year and then he came back and then he was ready for the Premier League. But yeah,
Let's
I
see.
buy your point. It's not easy, but I feel it's more sustainable compared to what, let's say, some of the other clubs have been trying, wherein they spend a lot of money without having the right. Because always a risk, right? Get in the player, but there's no guarantee that the player will actually work. And once your
True.
wage structure is broken, you are completely gone.
like for me, a model like Forest's model is perhaps more sustainable. Although they messed up by sacking Nuno at the beginning of the season, which was more of like a political call than a footballing call.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Ego
that
battle.
I think is more sustainable to keep you sort of in the league for a longer period of time. And secondly, developing players from your academy rather than just buying international youngsters, developing local players from your academy, which I think, other than like the top six, Everton is the only one. And Everton has done that where they develop players from their own academy who serve them, who give them profit, they develop more players. I think that is more sustainable than like having a model like Brighton's.
Yeah, I mean, if they can add the academy to this, that will make it
Yeah,
great for them.
yeah.
If they can add academy players getting churned out as well, in addition to the cheap buys that they're doing, that will be great, right?
Yeah.
That makes it the two funnel thing. So
Hmm. And academy players will also tend to stay longer for the club. Like they give this club one or two more seasons when they sort of become of a profile to go to a bigger profile club.
yeah,
So the highest amount that Brighton received for an academy player was Ben White for 50 million to Arsenal in 2021.
Hmm.
yeah.
And uske baad the next has been Robert Sanchez, 25 million in 2023. उसके अलावा there are no big जो मेरे को दिख रहा है.
Hmm.
Great. Should we move on to the next topic?
Sure.
Anything else you all have in mind to discuss?
I think we should definitely discuss this in a different context, taking into account Union's Saint Gillois and Hearts, maybe at the end of the season or next season, because matlab, it is a serial winner, right? Like you are basically wherever you are buying teams, they are winning the league in other European competitions, which is no small feat. Like Celtic and Rangers have been crazy dominant across the Scottish league, and if they are able to
Yeah.
break their dominance, it would be a once in a lifetime story. Similarly, in Anderlecht, in Belgium, Anderlecht, Genk, Royal Antwerp, these have been the traditional clubs. And a new club coming in from the second division and then dominating again is a very, very interesting story. So,
Yeah, but these clubs have the advantage over other clubs in smaller leagues where they can get good players from their, like, the main team loaned out to them. Also, the kind of investment these clubs get is higher. Of course, the data approach is like a differentiator. Like if I go back to the example of Aberdeen, when Sir Alex was managing them in Scotland, and he was the one that he broke the duopoly of Celtic and Rangers for a
correct,
sustainable amount of time.
correct.
He won the European Club Cup Winners' Cup, also beating Real Madrid in the final. So now that differential, like that advantage, was because of the manager. And in those days, manager was the king in the club. He would like be the one sort of selecting players, scouting players, taking all those decisions. So that was the differential. But as soon as he left, it was again a duopoly until now, which is like a good 40 years. So again, this kind of like one funnel driven approach is not sustainable.
No, no, I agree. I'm just
Hmm.
trying to put a caveat by saying that I don't necessarily feel that it's a one funnel approach because they have been investing in the training grounds, the academy football, and maybe they have not yet reaped the high rewards that other clubs have reaped. हो सकता है we will see in the next 5 years more Brighton players coming in from their youth ranks because even if I look
Academy
at
gestation period is longer.
longer.
Hmm.
Even if I look at the Chelsea Academy, 2001, 2002 से उन्होंने effort चालू किया था, and then finally 2012-13 से they started really having the conveyor belt of young players to sell. So it may take a longer gestation period, like you guys are mentioning, but I don't think they are a unilateral pony in any way. They have a lot of good people at the back end who are helping them. So my view is that they are one of the most serious clubs right now till Tony Bloom is there. Of course, if the ownership changes, then you never know. But at this moment in time, they're doing a good job.
Okay, interesting topic, guys. What do you guys think are the chances of Wrexham coming in the Premier League next year? So they are currently seventh, which is the playoff spot, which is not too bad
Seventh is
for a
not the
club who
playoff.
has got back to back
Six,
to
six.
back promotions. Uh,
So
it'll
I
be
have
like
been,
it'll be crazy if they make it to the Premier League.
I don't think they're ready yet. I have been tracking them because of the documentary Welcome to Wrexham since a couple of years now, and like very fun story, very passionate story, and the owners do a great job in promoting the story very, very well. In fact, when Chelsea faced Wrexham away in the FA Cup again, it was like, you know, showcased very well across different networks and platforms. What I feel is Coventry has already achieved their promotion almost, and
Yep.
the second spot I think is between Middlesbrough and Sheffield, if I'm not wrong. एक बार check कर लो.
It's Middlesbrough, Ipswich, and Millwall.
हाँ, तो I think one of Middlesbrough or Ipswich should be able to get there. And amongst the remaining teams, I think in a playoff anything can happen, of course. And Wrexham, honestly, they have been top six for the longest time. Only this last couple of game weeks they have slipped to seventh. Otherwise, they were top six for almost 7-8 weeks in a row. So, well, I was expecting them to finish sixth only, and then from there, if something of a miracle can happen. But at this moment in time, it seems less likely. Like I would say, a lot of things have to go in their favor to kind of get them to the Premiership. Also, if they get to the Premiership, I don't see them like sustaining the Premiership. I see them
Surviving.
getting
Yeah.
relegated immediately.
If they get
Like then,
promoted this year.
if they get promoted this year, because their overall revenue is only 30 million right now, and
Correct,
even if they
correct.
get Premiership money, which is 105 million fix, their
Yeah.
stadium is not built as a Premier League stadium. They have to do upgrades. Their capacity is
Correct.
not good. Then in terms of facilities, the academy, this it's not a business or it's not a club which is ready for the Premier League, to be very honest. It's not even a club which is ready for the championship. They have outperformed and they are beating the odds right now. But I think over a period of time, with the investment coming in, they can be a regular Premier League club if they get add-on investment from other, bigger players. But like, it will be a great story if they do get into the Premiership. But I can see them getting relegated immediately for sure.
Hmm.
Yeah, they are not ready
Yeah,
for sure. They are
Yeah,
not ready for sure. It's Yeah, but it will be a great story. It will
it'll
be
be a
like
great.
a
yeah. Like I think in the past, whatever, like League One, League Two, and the non-league seasons that they've had, they have outspent their rivals largely to gain promotion. They've also, because of the story and the brand, they've had a lot of let's say big name brand players playing for them towards the end of their careers. But like now, when they are in the championship, where budgets of other teams are higher than theirs, they are holding their own, which is already really good for them. But I feel if they don't uh, get promoted this season, they might be in the championship for a long time. Like they might be in the championship for 5, 6 odd seasons before getting a chance, because their momentum will break, and like to get it back is not so easy.
no, no. I think they will again give it a shout next year. Yeah, it's because that momentum, as you're saying, right? Like one more year of being in the championship, one more year of investment being done, one more year of kind of being ready. It will be like a good thing for them. Yeah. So I think they will be there next year again, and I think that whole flywheel of them being able to attract good talent because of their owners and the cloud that comes around with along with it, I think that will continue. It won't end this year or whatever, but I think they will give it a go next year as well if they don't get promoted this year.
Like for me, I think because the difference, like the disparity in money is so high between them and many other championship clubs, especially all the clubs that are going to get relegated. They will have the parachute payments and the kind of talent that they have already. It's not going to be like, once it's important for a club to capitalize on the momentum that they have, and once it breaks, sometimes you just like, you keep on trying, but it becomes a much longer process than like just doing it in one shot when you have tailwinds.
So just putting things into context, they signed a few players at the beginning of the season. They've actually signed quite a few players, and from the ones where the amounts are disclosed, they signed Nathan Broadhead for 10 million from Ipswich Town. They signed Callum Doyle for 6.5 million from Manchester City. Ben Sheaf for 6.5 million from Coventry City. And their leading goal scorers right now are Kiefer Moore, who has scored 11 goals, and he is going to be turned 34 in August. Josh Windass, who is Dean Windas's son, he is going to be he's 32 already, and he scored 10 goals. And basically, they have taken ready players who can kind of compete in the championship. And I don't see like this level of players to a higher level of player that they can attract right now at Wrexham in the Premiership as well. Like across a 20-man squad, they will not be able to do. Maybe we will be able to attract two or three of them, but not beyond that. And I think that will be their biggest failing somehow. Like right now, if you look at this squad, agar next ek do season mein they are not able to achieve promotion, all these guys whom they sign for big money and who are at a higher age, they will be likely to leave, right? And uska resale value kuch milega nahi unko. So they've kind of poured a lot of their
Hmm.
things right now for promotion this season, and maybe they'll try
But
again next season.
look at it this way: Spurs get relegated or West Ham get relegated, they will have not just other teams, but even Wrexham will have a lot of players that they can attract from that pool as well. Now,
Like very
and
because
I
the
will tell you
wages,
what. I
the
will tell
wages
you
are a
what.
big
Like
issue.
wages, ठीक है, but I don't think they. I think they should be able to manage it. Yeah, with the kind of clout and the funding that the owners can pull, they should be able to manage it. And I'll tell you what, the players get attracted, or the players get enticed by the kind of project and the success of the project that they see happening. So I would rather, if I am a player, I would rather, instead of joining a Nottingham Forest or a Everton in the Premier League, I would rather join Wrexham in the Championship, and I see a very long-term project over there with the owners, which are much more kind of in the mix of it. They are close to the team. They are very passionate about the whole project. As a player, I would love that kind of project to kind of lower level, or like a Leeds or some any of these other teams basically. So see, of course, they you will always get enough players. Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. And I think Wrexham will be the top landing club for a majority of the players in Championship and the relegated people coming from Premier League. So I don't think that should be a problem. Funding also, I feel that given that now they have 1 year of experience of being in the Championship, probably if you would have asked me last year, these guys could have been like, yeah, we don't. My first objective is not to kind of get relegated first year after being promoted to Championship.
No, and that
Correct.
was also a very like if you see the documentary, usme this statement has come from people that they'll never
Yeah.
be able to sustain the championship as well, and they
Correct.
have definitely beaten the odds over there.
Hmm.
Correct. So हाँ मतलब see, first year is preventing a relegation from Championship given the kind of big jump that you have done. Second year is going and actually now cementing your place in the Championship and building for the future, kind of a thing. So I think I think the strategy and the kind of forward-looking plan that they have, I think they should be fine with. Like I think next year also they should do well. So
It'll be a great story for sure. I
yeah,
think,
Hmm.
yeah, would love to see. Like even when I saw the game against Chelsea, they were actually very passionate, and the owners are very passionate. So it's always a
correct,
good story to see.
correct. Cool. Any other topics, guys, that you guys want to discuss?
Hmm.
A quick 5 minute take on the race for the top four. What are your prediction, guys? 8 games to go. Who
It's going
Uh,
to be,
fourth
yeah.
spot? Give me the fourth spot. I think United are looking highly likely for the third spot. What about the
United
fourth spot?
third for sure. Fourth, I think Liverpool will just edge out, especially with the
Okay,
Mo Salah, you know, the leaving tour. I think they will ensure
seven
that.
games.
Sure.
7 games
has
to
Liverpool
go.
been kicked out of the Champions League already?
No, no, they are facing
No,
PSG.
no. Okay.
Yeah.
So
No, but
Okay,
uh,
so
Mo
so here's the
Salah has
table.
come out.
7 games to go. United are 55 points. Villa are 54. Liverpool are 49, and Chelsea is 48.
I
So
think
there's a
United
5 point gap
Villa,
between Villa and Liverpool.
United Villa
No, if you look at the
will.
fixture list,
Yeah.
right, I think Villa is still to face City, and they are still to face, I think, one more strong team, if I'm not wrong. Like there were two or three fixtures which will be very difficult unless the title race is
Villa
really over.
are yet to face Liverpool and Man City.
Liverpool and Man City, correct.
Yeah,
So I think,
and
and
Liverpool game will be a 6 pointer.
yeah, and so far this 2026 calendar year, Villa have
Yeah,
lost every single 6 pointer.
yeah, yeah.
Lost to Chelsea, they have lost to United, they have lost to Arsenal. So basically, they were in the short of a title race and they lost to Arsenal. Then they
Mhm.
were convincingly ahead of Chelsea and United, and they lost both of their games. So I think somewhere along the line, it's not working for them. I don't know what is not working, but it's not working for them. And Liverpool, being Liverpool, I think they are just gonna sneak in.
I think if Liverpool beat PSG, then they might find it difficult to be competitive in the league.
I feel it'll be the other way around. If they, it's all about momentum. If they beat PSG, their momentum is going to carry them through to the top four.
But their squad is thin, yeah. Like they won't be able to sustain on both fronts, is what I feel. Like if
Yeah,
they
it's
get
it's a
beaten by PSG, then they will have
I,
like players fresh every week.
just by the way, Villa is also in the Europa League. They are facing Bologna, and the easiest part for Villa to the Champions League will be via the Europa League.
Yeah.
that opens one more spot for Chelsea.
Chelsea का तो यार
Only if, yeah.
honestly, I really, the way things are going, I really doubt if Brentford or someone else doesn't take up the sixth and seventh spot as well, because it's free fall right now. It's not about the, let's say, the results. It's about the application. And there was a significant shift. So basically, in the second half of the PSG game, around the 70th minute, there was a definite switch wherein I think the players stopped playing for the manager. And I think when that happens, suddenly you go, in a very, very simple downward loop. Uske pehle tak, they were at least trying. And then when Jorgensen made the mistake, and then Enzo's reaction to Jorgensen, and then how the manager handled it, and then the next game and the next game and the next game. So we lost to Newcastle at home, then we lost to Everton away, and everything kind of it. There's no fight in the team right now. So unless something significant changes, I don't see Chelsea competing right now.
But even Brentford are slipping up, right? So their last three games, Brentford, right? Draw to Bournemouth, draw to Wolves, and draw to Leeds. Now, I mean, could have won any of those games and actually leapfrog Chelsea. But it's just that this is a season where all the teams don't want to take on the chances that they are getting. So
See,
yeah,
I would still not rule out Newcastle. I'm telling you, we've discussed this multiple times. I would still not rule
Newcastle.
out Newcastle. They are someone who, like, they have it in them. They keep on getting close. Like even against Barcelona in the home leg, they did exceedingly well. So हो सकता है, if you look at the points difference, there's a 6 point difference right now, and if they win six of their remaining seven games, I think they are still in with a shout. If of course Villa uh, win the Europa League, and there's a additional sixth or seventh place also open.
Hmm.
Everton would be licking their lips here. I think Everton is on a
Mhm.
decent run, even sort of
Everton
five.
actually is in good form
Yeah,
because I
Brighton
saw
अभी
their games.
discuss कर रहे थे. Brighton has won 4 out of 5 as well.
Yeah, but Brighton का भी यार कुछ भरोसा नहीं. But Everton, the way they played against Arsenal, they were really good.
Yeah. They're a
So
very good side. Yeah.
yeah, so again,
David
like that whole
Moyes,
Moyes ka thing where he's
yeah,
compact at the back and kind of does enough going forward. I think they have kind of stabilized in a good way this season, basically. So yeah,
it's usually the case. You don't know what you've got till it's gone. West Ham kind of took that for granted. That yeah, he won us a trophy, but he's not playing sexy football, so let's get rid of him.
Hmm.
And Everton took it in the positive way, and I think one of the best non-top level managers which is there, right? Which was very consistent, and I think
yeah,
he's still in that position, like how to
correct.
get the best out of his team.
Like I think Everton is the strongest competitor for the fifth spot.
For the
Possibly,
sixth spot,
Yeah, I think they've had for the fifth spot.
sixth now, fifth is
Fifth.
Liverpool.
हाँ तो 49 है ना, 3 points का फर्क है सिर्फ.
But एक side पे you are saying Liverpool is going to go ahead of Villa and compete
No,
for the
I'm
fourth
saying
spot,
if
and एक
Liverpool.
side पे
No, I'm talking about fifth spot only. Like Liverpool qualifies in the fifth spot.
अच्छा, you're
If
saying Liverpool
they,
qualifies in the fifth spot. Okay, fine.
guys. I'm
yeah,
just going to
if
read out Everton's fixtures till then. So
yeah.
Brentford away, Liverpool at home, West Ham away, City at home, Palace away, Sunderland at home, Tottenham away. So definitely not
Oh,
an
Hmm.
easy set of
yeah,
fixtures.
yeah.
All I want is them to kind of get some points against City. That's all I care about.
They usually do, but yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways. But it will be an interesting last 7 weeks. So let's see.
Hmm.
Any other thing to discuss, guys?
No, I think we are okay.
Yes. I
Okay.
think we
Let's
shall
wrap it
wait for
up.
the next week. Yes. Sure.
Okay. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hit the like button, subscribe, share, and we'll see you next week. Bye bye.